I was supposed to come and just say a few words to introduce Aviot, but I'm not going to delay doing that. As Aviot mentioned, we're from an organisation called the Lorna Young Foundation, and we're competing with the coffee machine, sorry. And Lorna Young was one of the pioneers of fair trade before fair trade became the quite big brand it is now. She worked for an organisation called Equal Exchange up in Edinburgh, which some of you will have heard of. And they were one of the founding organisations of Cafe Direct, which hopefully most of you will have heard of. And she was the marketing manager. She got the very first fair trade coffee into a supermarket in 1992. And that kind of was the catalyst that got fair trade products from being a little charity shop niche product into the mainstream. We're still competing, we're going to struggle. And then Lorna died in 1996, and so she didn't really get to see what her efforts became. But she really was in this country, one of the founding pioneers of the whole fair trade movement. Aviot's told you some of the background about your own coffee company. We've been working with them now nearly 4 years, I think, almost 4 years, and it's still a struggle. It's still not paying anybody a salary, so we need to sell lots and lots more coffee. So they need to sell lots and lots more coffee. But on the back of this enterprise, we've gone on to do similar stuff with groups of marginalised young people in Yorkshire, helping them to set up social enterprises around trade. So we now have a company called Not Just a Trading Company, which sells a range of products called Not Just a Bar of Chocolate, Not Just a Box of Tea Bags. And the not just bit is obvious in one respect, but it's basically, as we've said here, this is not just a bag of coffee. It's helping farmers to earn a living, it's helping the guys here to earn a living and get some self-respect back and get new skills. And it's the same with the products that we do through the new enterprise. So we're very grateful to the Aroma community here, because we help them to get started, but in return they've helped us to realise that by doing this we can replicate this over and over, and we can get young unemployed people sort of starting their own enterprises and getting moving and getting on the ladder and getting some self-respect. And in doing so we can sell lots and lots and lots more stuff, which means more and more farmers get more and more value. And most of the farmers I speak to, and I recently came back from Ethiopia and Kenya, and some of the farmers that supply this coffee, they don't want charity, they don't want aid. When you see things on Question Time about all this slashing the aid budget, they don't want that. They just want to earn a decent living for their toil, and they will work themselves out of poverty. But we can do our bit by obviously making sure not only that we pay a fair price, but that price goes back to farmers and isn't kind of sucked out the middle. So the closer the relationship between us as consumers and farmers as producers, the more value gets held at the two ends of the supply chain and not sucked out by everybody in the middle. And that's really all this is ever about. Whether that's through fair trade labelling, or whether it's through things like direct trade, community trade, whatever you want to call it, it's about us as consumers making sure that we ask questions. We don't just rely on a badge, on a packet. We don't just say, well, Nestle's got a badge on it, so they're okay. They're not really, so, whatever badges they put on. But it's about us asking questions. We use the comparison of the farmer's market. We now go and we buy our carrots and we speak to the person who grew those carrots and we have a relationship. In this day and age with the technology we've got, we can do that globally. We can talk to the farmers who grow coffee thousands of miles away, and we can make sure that we're asking the right questions and getting the answers that we want. So that's really what we're trying to do, and the guys are trying to do, and we're very proud of the relationship we have with Aviot and everybody else in the OCC. And with, this is where I'm now segue into Damien. Is that the
yeah, absolutely.
Damien, who will quietly stand in the corner in most places, is one of the top coffee roasters in certainly in the UK, if not the world, and one of the top coffee judges. And he can sit there and blindfolded and tell you which country different beans have come from, and from the smell and its taste, and it's quite astonishing. I assume you're going to be doing a bit of a masterclass thing, or at least
something along those
lines. We first met Damien when we started this. We live about a mile from the coffee roaster, and we didn't even know it was there, but every morning we'd open our windows and we'd get this smell coming up the valley, and just, what is that? And then eventually we realised there was a coffee roaster at the other end of our valley, and we went and knocked on their door, and that was 4 years ago. And as a result, they roast Aroma coffee. They're one of the top coffee roasters in the UK, roast for Fortnum and Mason and lots of blue chip clients, and they also roast for Aroma. So you know with Aroma you're getting probably one of the best quality products in the country.